What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. Sorry I didn't get around to recording this thing. I was on vacation last week. I had the Robin video out, and I had a few other things I posted. And plus, I just didn't really have the enthusiasm to cover some more comic book stuff. But now that I'm back from vacation, I'm feeling rejuvenated, and I'm ready to talk some more DC comic book stuff. Because if you miss a week, then you fall behind on talking about everything. So I'm going to cover this thing. I got to talking about Detective Comics. I'll eventually get around to talking about the Infinite Frontier. So it's going to be a little bit of catch up this week and then also concurrently talking about new stuff, which comes out tomorrow. So there's a lot of things to digest when we get into this thing. But the main thing is we're going to be talking about Teen Titans Academy #4 right now. So overall consensus out of the 4 issues, this is probably the best because it had the most amount of focus. Still nothing amazing or anything all that like has me interested because we're following a bunch of characters who I really don't know too much about, and but it has focus, and I am so thankful that we have an issue that just for once just has focus. It focuses on a small group of characters. It's simple, it's easy to follow. It's just them investigating the various people trying to figure out who exactly is Red X, and that's all you need to know. But at the end of the issue, it really doesn't accomplish much, all things considered. So it left me kind of wondering, like, I mean, it had focus, but it left me kind of wondering, like, what was really kind of the point of this thing, I guess, to narrow down suspects, but they don't really figure out who Red X is. I mean, we're just kind of led to more red herrings, and that's all that this book really has going for it is, I guess, the mystery of who is Red X, who is Red X, who is Red X. I mean, it was cool in the Teen Titans cartoon, but in terms of the comics here, like, it just, because it's just kind of something that's just kind of added on, like, oh, Dick Grayson was Red X before. It just felt like somebody was just kind of taking the show and throwing it into the main universe when it's really never been the case. So yeah, apparently Dick Grayson has been Red X before, and it's never been a factor in any of the main comics and the character's entire like 80-year history. But there you go. We'll just throw that in there because Teen Titans cartoon, and that's the whole reason Red X is even in this thing. But it's not going to be like an exciting reveal really at the end of the day. Unless it's somebody completely shocking or something really cool, like a clone of somebody. I don't know what it's going to be, but it could even be 2 people who are posing as Red X, kind of like the mystery of the Batwoman, where they had the multiple Batwoman in it. But we'll just kind of see what happens here. But anyways, let's kind of summarize what happens here. I mean, I pretty much did. So we have the Bat Pack right here all together. Chupacabra, Negabat, and then Batgirl are basically there trying to investigate who is Red X. So we see all the different suspects on here. There's a cameo. They have Damien in there. I guess even there's his cameo. Red Hood, because red, all that stuff. Nightwing. They don't even have a picture of him because again, his butt. Haha, funny because that's people like Dick Grayson's butt as Nightwing. That's that. Yeah, so basically it's just them telling their different points of view about like, oh, who they think Red X is. It's them intimidating people and trying to play good cop, bad cop. Stitch at one point takes over and the narration, magically breaking into somebody's narration for me to say don't smoke, smokers are jokers, and vapists are Stitch. Sorry, Stitch out. Funny, right? I mean, it just wasn't funny at all. So, anyways, it's just them investigating the different people. They come across Matt. They get scolded by Starfire because they did some not so nice things. They pretty much go throughout their lists. We also have another storyline kind of going on here with Billy Batson. It's kind of small, but he seems to be losing his powers as Shazam, which you have Raven and Beast Boy there trying to investigate and trying to figure out what's going on here. Vigilante, yeah, finally put all that Nightwing training good. I couldn't even wear a mask. What do you think? So a lot of them are starting to theorize that Billy Batson might in fact be Red X as well because his powers are off, which wouldn't be too bad of a reveal. But by the end of it, we really don't kind of get to that. But yeah, so anyways, it's just the Batpack just causing troubles and upsetting people along the way. And by the end of the issue, they kind of suspect it's going to be Billy Batson, but it's really not. And then they run into Red X. So yeah, that's kind of the issue in its entirety. Overall consensus, it's probably the best of the 4, mostly because it has focus. But I'm following along with a bunch of characters who I don't necessarily care about. I mean, maybe you do, but I personally don't. There's not really been enough to really get me invested into all these new like 1,000 characters that are in this thing. And I mean, I kind of wish this Titans book was separated into three things because the previous team has nothing to do pretty much in this whole thing. Crush at least gets a solo book with her father Lobo. Dick Grayson obviously has the Nightwing book, but other characters like Red Arrow and like Kid Flash, who I don't know if he's even in the Flash book at this point, aren't really given next to anything to do at this point. I wonder where Jin is too, because she hasn't shown up in things. I mean, I'm kind of thankful for that because Jin was just kind of annoying by the end of that run. But I mean, the previous run at least had a smaller group of characters to follow. Here we have so many that it's just like, aha, see, they were Red X all along. Well, you have like 500 people in here, somebody who's bound to do it. And it's not like I really got the chance. It's not even really a great mystery because I feel like when you have so much kind of thrown out there, like it doesn't like a good mystery. I feel like if you have a smaller group of people and then you kind of get to who's really behind it. Because if you have so many suspects, then you kind of just like I don't know. It just doesn't really click as much. It doesn't feel as engaging to me personally, but we'll just kind of see what happens with this thing. The artwork was fine. I mean, I'm not really nitpicking or complaining about anything in terms of the artwork. I think it works fine. The humor, it's just not there for me. Like, there's no kind of moment where I laughed or really chuckled at anything. I guess the most interesting thing for me is what's going on with Billy Batson and his powers, but I think that's going to tie into the Shazam book, which this writer is also writing. Yeah, I guess. Um, Still not too much for like again there's just so many characters in this series that's just you're gonna kind of like wonder like oh why isn't this other person given something to do. I mean at least they took the time to kind of focus on a smaller batch of characters here and them just trying to figure out who Red X is. I don't really know much about or care particularly for these new characters, but at least they focused on a smaller batch of characters this time around. So I can be thankful for that. I personally just don't care what's going on with the Red X mystery. So and if it's just really going to drag, I don't know how long it's going to drag on for. If it drags on for like 10, 15 issues, I'm just going to groan audibly the whole time. But eventually we are going to finally get to the reveal of who Red X is. So, but by the end of this issue, like it did really like, I guess it narrowed down some suspects. I mean, we've kind of seen what Red X looks like in future states, so it's there's certain characters who it's not going to be, it's not going to be like the gorilla, or it's not going to be the Brat Pack here. It's going to be somebody. It could be potentially a Billy Batson, I guess, but like this kind of maybe disproves it by the end of it, or it could maybe himself like split off or something, or perhaps a clone of a younger Dick Grayson. That would be kind of interesting to see. Maybe even Tim Drake, who's not in this book at all, but I think, it would give Tim something to do. We'll see what happens with this whole scenario with Red X, but I'm just kind of going through the motions in this book at this point. I'm pretty much completely checked out of Teen Titans Academy. Still going to be talking about it, but it's not something I look forward to reading. Apparently, there's another issue coming out tomorrow at the time of recording this, so we'll see how that goes. It's like a special yearbook edition or whatever, but maybe it'll be good. Probably not, but I'll be talking about it. Anyways, what did you think of Teen Titans Academy #4? Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. Be sure to come back next time. I also got to talk about Detective Comics that came out last week. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And on top of that, we got some more comic books coming out this week. So it's going to be coverage, coverage, coverage. I have my vacation. I'm rejuvenated. I'm recharged. And I'm ready to go and kick some ass. All right. That's all I got to say. As always, take care now. Bye bye then. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.